Fridays are the undisputed champion of awesome. I'm Carl Azus with CNN Student News, 10 minutes of commercial-free current events. We start today with news from Jordan. It's a constitutional monarchy in the Middle East, and its government is enraged. The ISIS terrorist group captured a Jordanian fighter pilot in Syria in December. News broke earlier this week that ISIS had brutally murdered the man. Jordan struck back. The pilot's father says he was told that dozens of Jordanian jets flew in airstrikes against ISIS yesterday. Then they flew back over the man's house in tribute to the pilot's family. Jordan says it targeted ISIS training centers and ammunition depots, and that these strikes were just the beginning of its response. U.S.-led airstrikes were part of the reason why ISIS lost the city of Kobani. It's in northern Syria, near the Turkish border. The Kurdish Peshmerga fighters on the ground who drove ISIS out had been living in a city of ruins.
The aftermath of a disaster, but this disaster is man-made. Welcome to Kobani. With Western help from the air, the Kurdish Peshmerga won back the Syrian city of Kobani. This is what they won: utter devastation. Kurdish militia and rebel fighters have been working to liberate the Syrian city from ISIS grip since early October. There are many battlefields in Syria and in Iraq, but Kobani, in sight of the Turkish border and Western media, was a fight the whole world saw. Hundreds of US and coalition airstrikes have rained down on it, hitting terror targets, but decimating buildings and houses as well. And this is what the civilians caught in the crossfire now call home. The majority of civilians fled Kobani for refugee camps and less volatile areas when the fighting first started. But others could not flee or were forced by circumstance to return. Most hospitals in Kobani, like everything else, have been destroyed.
The ISIS put this full of TNT inside the hospital and exploded. So you will see all this mess.
This is Kobani's makeshift hospital now. There is nothing left here, but for people like Bozan, it is still home.
I said I will not leave my city. I will stay here, and told my sons, go wherever you want to go. But for me, I will stay here, and I will die on Syrian land.
ISIS is no longer in control of Kobani, but this is what victory looks like.
Just the facts. Texting while driving makes you 23 times more likely to crash your car, according to the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute. No U.S. state has banned all cell phone use by all drivers, but 44 states have banned texting while driving. A CDC study found that almost half of all U.S. high school students aged 16 or older have texted or emailed someone while driving.
In fact, 75% of all drivers in a recent survey said they'd texted while driving, even though 98% of those who do it admit it's dangerous. Why? One professor at the University of Connecticut says it's because there's a divide between what we believe and what we actually do. Like, we think others shouldn't text and drive, but that we can handle it ourselves. Also, compulsive texters, people who have trouble resisting the urge to check and reply to the messages they get. One challenge for states where it's illegal is proving when drivers are doing it. Advanced radar technology is making that easier for police.
Radar technology will help police do more than clock speeders in the future. A Virginia company called Comsonics is reportedly developing a new gizmo that uses radar to detect whether drivers are texting behind the wheel. The radar gun would scan frequencies emitted from inside vehicles. The idea poses a lot of unanswered questions, like how can a device tell the difference between driver texts and passenger texts? Another handheld radar device is already being used to help police see through walls. Well, sort of. It's called Ranger. Basically, it's a highly sensitive motion detector, about 9 inches long and weighing only about a pound. Ranger shoots radar rays through a wall and into a room on the other side. Rays bounce back through the wall to the device. Then, a device display shows how close the movement is on the other side of the wall. At least 50 law enforcement agencies reportedly already have access to it. Its maker, L3 Cytera, says Ranger is useful for police SWAT teams, search and rescue, and helping firefighters find people trapped in burning buildings. But opponents say these devices may have darker uses that may violate individual privacy protections.
Today's roll call segment is strictly for the birds, specifically the eagles. Taking flight over Sioux Falls, South Dakota, we've got the Eagles of Lutheran High School. Soaring over Mankato, Minnesota, wave to the Eagles of Central High School. And flying high over Zionsville, Indiana, guess who? The Eagles. They're on the wing at Zionsville Middle School. Going into their game against the Golden State Warriors tonight, the Atlanta Hawks have 41 wins, 9 losses. It's the best record in the National Basketball League. But historically, the Hawks haven't had great attendance. Last season, they were 28th out of 30 teams. This season, they unveiled a new 3D projection system. During pregame intros and halftime shows, it seems to turn the court into, well, whatever they want. Fans are noticing.
Projection is an amazing technology. The setup that we use is 8 projectors. There are about 26,000 looms per projector. When you look at the floor, we actually use the lines on the floor, and some of that video is mapped around where the keys are, where the three-point lines are. Layering the projection is really important, and that's what allows you to create that eye candy or that illusion of depth on the floor. We shot from the perspective to be used for projection as opposed to shooting typical video and then trying to apply it to projection. I think the next extension to that is essentially infrared cameras that will read movement on the floor and connect moving graphics to moving people or moving objects. And so when you get into that space, the sky is the limit. I think another thing that we'd really like to explore is the concept of connecting your mobile device. We use our Twitter feed and our Instagram feed to invite fans to send us photos, and then we can actually take those photos real time and shift them on panels where they actually continue to reveal and refresh with new photos that are coming through our social streams. I think that there's a lot of pressure to create an experience at the arena that is different than what you can see at home when you're watching the game on a 70-inch HD TV and with your fridge right around the corner and a bathroom that you're not going to wait in line for.
We have to make it different. We have to make it special. And that's what we think we've done.
Of course, they're courting more fans, and in the court of public opinion, the Hawks are projected to play on in the playoffs this year. Their record and court are unbelievable. It's like they're the net big thing. And though our buzzer's about to go off, we hope you'll be free to throw 10 minutes our way again on Monday.